Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Record-breaking temperatures are on the way. I'll show you when high temperatures climb into the 80s coming up.
Financial audit released. A months-long report focused on the city of Rocky Mount's finances was released today. How the former manager played a role in the millions overspent.
Plus another surge. The pain at the pump is intensifying. The spike we've seen in the last week and how much it could go up in the coming days.
We are experiencing yet another warm start to our week and tracking yet another cold front coming. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Levingood. We appreciate you joining us this noon hour. Believe it or not, record-breaking temperatures are on the way. We have meteorologist Amy Wilmoth checking that for us in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Amy, it's a beautiful day and yet another weather roller coaster that we're looking at.
That is right. Some big swings in the temperatures this week. Tomorrow is the day when I think we're probably going to start to break our record highs. There's 2 days this week. Lovely outside right now. This is a live look at Pittsboro from Doherty's Pub and Restaurant, and it's beautiful outside. Temperatures are very comfortable. This is pretty much perfect. 71 degrees at the noon hour in Raleigh and Durham, 66 in Roxborough, 67 in Fayetteville. I don't expect record highs today. We'll climb into the 80s this afternoon, upper 70s to low 80s. Record highs are back tomorrow, around 78 at 4 and 5 o'clock, still in the mid 70s at 6 and 7 o'clock. Sunset just after 7 o'clock now that we switched the time. But tomorrow, record highs are possible. 82 the forecast, the record 81 in Raleigh. We could get up to 86 in Fayetteville, the record 84. So Tuesday, record warmth is likely. Same thing Wednesday. Wednesday, we have a forecast high of 86 in Raleigh, the record 85 in Fayetteville, 88 for the high, the record 87. So record heat will be with us ahead of a cold front that's headed our way. We'll go from 86 degrees Wednesday afternoon all the way down to 37 degrees by Friday morning. So this is a strong cold front that's headed our way. It arrives Thursday and brings a round of some rain. We'll talk about that hour by hour with Futurecast coming up in just a bit. But enjoy today. 78 for the high temperature, low 80s in our southern counties. Pretty comfortable outside, but the normal's in the low 60s, so we're well above that. And then record-breaking highs expected Tuesday and Wednesday before our front arrives on Thursday. And again, I'll show you how much rain we could get coming up.
Sounds good, Amy. We'll come back to you in a bit. This morning, State Auditor Dave Bullock said the residents of Rocky Mount were right to worry. Those are his words. And he said that while releasing the results of a months-long audit of the city's finances. Now, here's the deal. The audit found the former city manager was not hired with due diligence, instability in financial leadership, and overspending. Let's bring in WRAL's Heidi Kirk. She has been covering this story for months, and she joins us live from outside the state auditor's office. Heidi, the state auditor says there were no checks and balances for at least 2 years in Rocky Mount.
Chris, you got that right. Those are exactly his words. And he really just validated a lot of those concerns that we've been hearing for years that people who live in this city have had, literally calling our assignment desk with questions. And we've been looking into this. Now, the state auditor says that a lot of this comes down to some of the spending and decisions made by that former city manager. His name is Keith Rogers, and he was employed around 2023 and 2024. You can see his picture there. Now, he says, the state auditor says, council did not properly vet him in the hiring process, pointing to the fact that there was no reference checks before he was hired. He also pointed to a pattern of unqualified hires that he made, questionable salary increases without council's approval, and unsound budgeting by the city manager, which led to the millions of dollars overspent. Now, he says that's falling on the people of Rocky Mount.
Government doesn't run on government money. Government runs on the people's money. And it's the people's money that government spends at all levels. So we're hopeful that things will turn around in Rocky Mount, but our recent reports and the follow-up that our team has been doing, I'd like to be able to say that the city of Rocky Mount is on the right path, but I'm not in a position to say that today.
And, you know, as part of that report, he detailed a number of recommendations that he's making to the current city manager and the council for moving forward and digging them out of this hole. Now, he is still engaged, or his office rather, is still engaged with the town. He said they're still looking at the procurement cards, some of the spending there, and also looking into a utility.
happening right now here in the Live Center. We have an update on the battle over weight loss drugs, where Him and Hers has announced today that it has agreed to stop selling compound versions of Novo Nordisk, Wegovy, and other weight loss drugs, ending a lawsuit. So Novo Nordisk is dismissing its patent infringement lawsuit against the telehealth company, as the two companies have reached an agreement that will see Novo Nordisk branded weight loss medicine sold through the Hims platform. This comes as early last month, the company said that it was going to launch a cheaper off-brand version of the weight loss drug.
Laura, thank you. New at noon, Live Nation has reached a settlement with the Department of Justice in the antitrust trial. It comes less than a week after the trial started. The deal requires Live Nation to pay $200 million in damages to participating states, including North Carolina. The state sued Ticketmaster's parent company in 2024 after allegations that it maintained an illegal monopoly over live events through ticketing, among other ways. New developments this noon in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Law enforcement says they are looking into new evidence near her home in Tucson, Arizona. Authorities say they are looking into a damaged utility box near the home. Investigators say the equipment could be connected to a reported internet outage in the area around the time she vanished. The outage may have disrupted nearby surveillance systems, potentially affecting video evidence that could help track the suspect. Authorities say they are close to a breakthrough, but much of the evidence remains confidential. Nancy Guthrie was reported missing more than a month ago. The family is offering a $1 million reward for information leading to her recovery.
The NYPD commissioner says the throwing of devices at a protest outside the mayor's residence is being investigated as what they're calling ISIS-inspired. Here's NBC's Sam Brock. Having some issues with the audio on that story there, though. If we're able to, we'll try to play that a little bit later for you. Moving to this story now. This historic building in Scotland is partly collapsed because of a massive fire, and this happened yesterday. The building is near Glasgow Central Station, and that's actually one of the country's busiest train depots. But no injuries have been reported in that.
New at noon, the U.S. military released a video of a strike on an alleged drug boat. It happened Sunday in the Eastern Pacific region. The military says the strike on the small boat killed 6 people. Sunday's blast brought the death toll to at least 157 since the administration began targeting narco-terrorists and small boats.
I tell you what, Amy, this past weekend, there was no excuse not to be outside. We took several walks with Jordy and Cha-Cha. It was great. And I know that there's going to be more opportunities this week, too.
Yes, the nice spring-like weather continues today. It's not too warm. We'll be in the 70s today, so pretty nice, and no rain in the forecast today. Just a mix of sun and clouds here from our Garner Tower cam. Overall, a very nice day today. It's going to start to get pretty steamy as we head into tomorrow and especially on Wednesday. Both of those days we could break record highs. 65 with some cloud cover still in Southern Pines. 70 in Rocky Mount, where we have the sunshine. Temperatures are a little bit warmer, 73 degrees right now in Smithfield. And overall, today is going to be a pretty nice day. We should reach the upper 70s to low 80s this afternoon, around 78 for the high in Raleigh, 81 perhaps in Fayetteville. This evening, the sun will set at about 7:17 p.m. So we get those longer days, more sun as we're getting home, and we can get some steps outside and enjoy this. 74 at 7 o'clock this evening. We're back down into the upper 60s at 9 o'clock. Low to mid 60s at 11 o'clock. It'll be fairly comfortable overnight tonight. Maybe a little bit of fog developing again tonight into early tomorrow morning. The next big weather maker will be the strong cold front that arrives on Thursday. It does bring the potential for rain, maybe a few isolated storms. And then behind the front, it will turn much cooler. And that will happen as we head into Friday. Just a 20% chance for a shower tomorrow. I'll show you who has the best chance tomorrow with Futurecast in a moment. A 20 to 30% chance Wednesday. And then Thursday with that cold front, we go up to a 60% chance for rain and maybe a few storms as well. So let's talk about this hour by hour. Today is going to stay dry, so it just started with Tuesday. This is Tuesday morning at about 8:30. So some showers possible the first part of the day Tuesday, but mainly south of the triangle. So I dropped our rain chance down to about a 20% chance for tomorrow. I think we'll see a mix of sun and clouds. Wednesday morning, we have a mix of sun and clouds through the day. I wouldn't rule out an isolated shower. We have a 20% chance Wednesday afternoon. afternoon, but many of you will stay dry. Thursday gets here, and this model isn't really robust with the rain, but I do think we'll see a line of rain and maybe some storms along the front as it arrives. And this is mainly going to be in the afternoon. This is around 3 o'clock. So as the kids are coming home from school, that's when the front itself will move through. It'll be a little breezy as the front moves through as well. And then behind it, as I mentioned, it'll turn cooler as we head into Friday. Temperatures will be back to around normal for this time of year. We need some rain. Obviously, we're still in a drought, and so these are some okay numbers, about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch expected. And again, most of this will come through the day Thursday with just a spotty shower or two tomorrow and Wednesday. The bigger story for tomorrow and Wednesday will be the very warm temperatures. I do think we'll likely break highs both Tuesday and Wednesday. 82 Tuesday, 86 for the high temperature on Wednesday. The cold front gets here, some showers, maybe a few isolated storms as well. Temperatures are still above normal, 72 for the high. Friday arrives, mostly sunny. It'll be breezy, but temperatures will be cooler, 63 after waking up to temperatures in the upper 70s. And some good news for the weekend. Another weekend to get outdoors. We'll have dry conditions with temperatures in the low 70s Saturday, mid 70s on Sunday. Saturday is a St. Patrick's Day parade in Raleigh, and the weather could not be better for that event. So at least we have another round of nice weather this weekend.
Yeah, not complaining about it.
Yeah, we have the luck of the Irish for St. Patrick's Day there. Amy, thank you. Coming up on our news this afternoon, diving into diesel. We are all seeing higher prices at the pump, including truckers. The increased costs for companies that could get passed along to you. That story today at 4.
Plus, auditing the auditor. The state auditor has faced questions about his impartiality overseeing a race for a candidate he endorsed. We asked him why voters should feel comfortable with him at the helm. That's tonight at 5.
Still to come on this newscast, GPS kid tracker risk. They promise peace of mind, but 5 on Your Side is testing the privacy risks that come with GPS trackers for kids. What every parent needs to know.
And spring break savings. Before you book that trip, experts say a few simple moves could help you avoid overspending. We'll show you how to stretch that budget for travel.
More families are turning to kid-friendly smartwatches and GPS trackers instead of smartphones to keep tabs on their children. But how secure are those devices? 5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur explains what parents should know before buying one.
GPS trackers like this one give parents peace of mind. They can see their child's location with just a tap. But are they sharing more information than families realize, and sometimes not securely?
Parents often assume that products made for children are held to higher standards, but that's not always the case.
Consumer Reports analyzed 15 popular devices, reviewing privacy policies, app permissions, and how data is handled. They found many devices collect more than the location, like messages, voice notes, and movement patterns. And some fell short on security, lacking protections like multi-factor authentication or encrypting messages.
The details of what information is being gathered and how it's being stored aren't always easy to track.
For parents looking for safer options, Consumer Reports says some products stood out, including Apple AirTag and Eufy Smart Track Link for Bluetooth tracking, and the Apple Watch SE and Garmin Bounce among smartwatches. Coming up tonight, I'm going to tell you which of these products scored the highest when it came to security settings and tell you what every parent needs to check on their child's tracking device. Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
The parent company of Saks Fifth Avenue is closing more stores across the country, and this will leave around 13 Saks stores remaining nationwide. Saks Global filed for bankruptcy with early $3.5 billion in debt in January, and it originally announced plans to close 8 Saks locations. Last month, a federal judge gave final bankruptcy financing approval. Nintendo is taking legal action against the Trump administration over tariffs. The company filed its lawsuit after the Supreme Court's decision to block President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs. Nintendo says that it's experienced, quote, irreparable harm from the import taxes. And now the company is asking for a prompt refund of the fees that it's already paid.
Minnesota lawmakers are working to ban the use of AI in grocery stores when it comes to what's referred to as surveillance pricing. Businesses say the technology will save shoppers money and make companies more efficient. Democratic lawmakers are pushing back, saying it could create unfair pricing on the same items for different people. Others say there is no evidence that the technology is harming consumers. We are in the thick of tax season, and scammers are not slowing down. Even though we are finished with National Consumer Protection Week, it's still important to bring awareness to scams. With the tax filing deadline approaching, the IRS released its Dirty Dozen list of tax scams. This includes AI-generated IRS impersonations or identity theft. If you feel you've been the target of a scam, you can report it to the IRS website. Still to come here this noon, critical needs budget. Governor Josh Stein unveiled what he called a critical needs budget. What's included in it and how he hopes to help families all across North Carolina.
Plus, caught in the crossfire, a North Carolina woman describes the moments that missiles flew outside her hotel in Israel. The story, she says, will stay with her forever. And we do have a look at your winning NC Education Lottery numbers right here on your screen.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
New at noon, Governor Josh Stein laying out a $1 billion spending proposal for the state legislature. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran joins us live from the legislature to break down what the governor says are critical needs. Will.
Renee, the state legislature behind me is mostly vacant today, but in just a few months, legislators will be returning to Raleigh for the start of the new session. And that's why Governor Josh Stein this morning was laying out details for his new proposed budget plan. North Carolina remains the only state in the country without a new budget. It's been over 2 years since the last full plan was approved. But in the meantime, the state has added hundreds of thousands of new residents. Inflation has gone up, and the federal government has pulled funding for some state services. Stein today laid out $1.4 billion in spending he says the legislature needs to tackle immediately, even if it means doing so outside the normal budget process. Two of his main priorities are raises for state employees and to fully fund Medicaid, which ensures millions of North Carolinians.
We cannot wait on Medicaid. We cannot wait to keep people safe. We cannot wait to value teachers, nurses, and other public servants. And we cannot wait on many critical services like the SBI and the DMV.
Now, Stein is a Democrat. He's going to need Republican legislators to make this work. I've reached out to them this morning for updates on the budget negotiation process and any response they might have to the governor's proposal. We have not heard back yet. Will Doran, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And happening now here in the WRAL Live Center this noon, a little bit of closure for the family who lost a loved one in a drive-by shooting in Durham. This is a look at that scene from a case that happened in 2023 on Rayner Street. 21-year-old Jakari Henderson has pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in Durham County. He was charged and he will now serve 16 to 20 years in prison. He was charged back in July of 2023 for the shooting that killed 43-year-old Benjamin Morris, who was sitting at the stop while waiting for the bus. Two juveniles were also involved in this, and police were able to identify them through Instagram. It's also important to note that as a part of this plea deal, his other charges of conspiracy to commit murder and possession of a stolen motor vehicle were dropped. Again, 16 to 20 years is what he's facing.
The 19-year-old accused of driving while intoxicated in Holly Springs is expected in court today. The crash happened on NC 55 near Avent Ferry Road around 4:30 yesterday morning. Police say Tristan Smith rear-ended a sedan stopped at a red light, and the driver and two passengers in the other car were taken to the hospital. Smith was also taken to the hospital but later released.
A Chapel Hill woman is sharing her experience of being trapped in Israel as the first missiles dropped in Iran. Lilia Austin joined a group of around 100 women, part of a Christian organization, traveling to Israel to celebrate Shabbat. The group arrived a day before the first strikes on Iran. Austin says she was staying in Galilee. She says the missile attacks happened shortly after tensions rose in Tehran. They triggered air raid sirens. That's when her group went into bomb shelters.
When we knew that the U.S. had a strike against Iran, we knew that things would not stay quiet. So I believe we all had a clear sense that things were going to be changing.
Austin says the group was eventually able to make their way to Egypt. Their guides who traveled alongside them helped them find a flight back home. You can find an extended portion of the interview with Lilia Austin on the WRAL YouTube page. Just search WRAL on YouTube.
Today, you'll have another chance to ask Wake County EMS questions and learn more about their emergency response changes. Their new protocol prioritizes callers who are in the most severe danger. They'll also use fewer emergency lights and sirens. Those changes will take effect early next month. Today's public meeting starts at 7 p.m. if you want to go. That will be at the North Regional Center of East Holding Avenue in Wake Forest. There will also be 3 more meetings happening this week in Cary, Willow Spring, and Wendell.
Applications are now open for the North Carolina Criminal Justice Fellows Program. This opportunity is for high school seniors, recent graduates, and working professionals who are interested in pursuing a career in criminal justice. Eligible applicants are able to receive funding toward an associate degree to any North Carolina community college. The program funding covers tuition, fees, textbooks, and supplies. You can apply online at ncdoj.gov. Applications are due by April 30th. Wake County's Spring Big Sweep is coming up soon. You can sign up now to help clean up litter around parks, streams, and neighborhoods. There are several events happening on Saturday, March 14th. You can register online.
Well, the Blue Devils are back-to-back champions. How about that? For the second year in a row, Duke wins the women's ACC tournament title after beating Louisville in overtime yesterday. With less than 30 seconds left in OT and Duke up by 2, Riley Nelson got the pass and knocked down the corner 3, beating Louisville 70-65. Duke is now tied with Maryland for the most conference titles of all time. Now, on the men's side, the ACC tournament gets started tomorrow. NC State will take on the winner of Stanford and Pitt in the second round on Wednesday at noon, and then on Thursday, Duke and UNC will play in quarterfinal games after getting byes in the first 2 rounds. The Blue Devils will play at 7 p.m. and the Tar Heels will play at 9:30 p.m. The championship game is Saturday.
Happening tonight, Team USA takes on Team Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. Team USA is 1 win away from advancing after a win over Great Britain over the weekend. Tonight's game starts at 8. You can tune in to watch that game on Fox 50.
A new way to experience life. Coming up, the opportunity veterans all across the country are getting to help make them feel included.
Plus, sleep trackers. Doctors say the information on your smartwatch may not be as accurate as you think. What experts say is the most reliable way to measure your sleep. And for news, traffic, and weather of the day, make sure to download the WRAL News app.
Here in the Live Center, we are staying on top of every single update coming out of the war on Iran. And this is new in the last 7 minutes. Europeans, France, and 4 other European members of the Security Council now requesting an urgent meeting today as Israeli strikes have continued to pound Lebanon since Hezbollah struck Israel in retaliation for the U.S.-Israel war in Iran. The U.S., which holds the council presidency this month, has not yet scheduled a session on Lebanon. Right now, they're calling this meeting to really discuss the situation in the Middle East. It says discussions will not disarm Hezbollah, according to a spokesperson there with the Israel's UN ambassador. So the Lebanese government right now saying that they must disarm Hezbollah and take full control over southern Lebanon.
Laura, thank you. Target is reaching a major milestone, and it's happening right here in North Carolina. The company is opening its 2,000th store this month near Raleigh. It will have a CVS pharmacy, Starbucks, and Disney shop inside. Target says North Carolina, Florida, and Texas can expect to see the most new stores.
Veterans at one nursing home are getting a new feel of traveling. Mind Immersive is a company that creates virtual reality experiences specifically for seniors. There are hundreds of adventures to choose from to help start conversation and to get the body moving. Some of them include skydiving, bowling, or trips to Paris. This technology is in more than 100 state veteran homes and VA medical centers. How about that?
Wonderful. Well, it is officially Sleep Awareness Week. We probably all know someone who tracks their sleep with a smartwatch. Have you ever wondered if those devices really work? Cleveland Clinic says if you wanted a more in-depth look at your sleep habits, a sleep tracker would not be the most reliable option. The data being collected is just an estimate and in some cases could even be wrong. Sleep specialists say the best way to truly know what kind of sleep you're getting, or if you have a sleep disorder, is by doing a sleep study. It is considered the gold standard.
In that study, we invite patients into the laboratory where we're actually looking at their brain activity along with their breathing and their heart rate and other parameters. And we can tell for sure, are they sleeping or not, and what stage of sleep you're in. So if you're looking for really granular data, like how much deep sleep you're getting or REM sleep you're getting, these trackers tend to be much less reliable.
If you do use a sleep tracker, it's important not to get too obsessive with the daily numbers. What matters more is paying attention to any concerning trends and letting your physician know.
All work, no pay. Who's working without checks and how travelers are paying the price.
And travel tips and tricks. Spring break is not far away. What you need to know before making your plans this year.
Waiting times and TSA lines at airports in America are reaching up to 2 hours or more. And this is because of TSA worker shortages related to the partial government shutdown. Some TSA agents are, again, working without pay while Congress debates funding for Homeland Security. At one point, Houston's airport issued a ground stop recently because of the volume of people and too few workers. This is why the TSA recommends you arrive 4 to even 5 hours before your flight to ensure you'll get through any lines you may run into. Tomorrow, there will be an event in Durham to help you get your passport. It's designed for first-time passport holders to get a passport book or a passport card, which are both Real ID compliant. The fair is at North Carolina Central's Student Union. That'll be from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Whether you know where you're going for spring break or still deciding, travel and hospitality experts say there are plenty of things people can be doing before a trip to make sure that they can have fun on a budget. Ted Lidner takes a closer look at how to keep from shelling out all your money just to make some memories.
With spring break fever heating up, industry experts say folks looking to unwind shouldn't wait any longer to start comparing deals on flights.
Book your flights. Look at flights. Get on an aggregator like Kayak that will give you predictions as to whether the airfares for the destination that you're interested in are likely to go up, go down, or remain the same.
And with travelers not looking to go bankrupt on tourism, Dr. Sherry Young of the University of Denver recommends these travel tips that could help people pocket some savings.
Fly midweek. You're going to get better pricing. If you can go to a destination where March is their shoulder season, you're going to get better pricing. If you go to secondary markets, don't go to the most popular cities.
Dr. Young also advises scouting out any special discounts being offered by hotels and resorts, looking to attract guests without causing
A beautiful view there on Lake Gaston. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we are following today.
The state auditor's office released its report on the financial crisis in the city of Rocky Mount today. It found the former city manager, Keith Rogers Jr., operated, quote, unchecked and went unaccountable for years. Their words. The report said that resulted in millions of dollars overspent. The state auditor's office began investigating the city in late 2025 after it admitted it was in a budget crisis.
We have a new mugshot of the man accused of stabbing a woman to death in an Orange County home. 53-year-old Matthew Buckmer is being held in the New River Valley Regional Jail in Virginia. He was captured after a manhunt that ended across state lines. He is accused of killing 54-year-old Paula Floyd. It happened last Friday morning at his home in the Wingate community. He was caught in Grayson County, Virginia, shortly after 5 that evening. He's expected to be extradited to North Carolina soon.
The State Highway Patrol trooper killed in a crash will be laid to rest this week. Trooper Stephen Perry's funeral will be held on Wednesday, and visitation will be at 9 a.m. at the Shepherd's Church Worship Center in Cary. The funeral service will follow at noon. The crash happened back on March 1st. A wrong-way driver slammed into Perry's vehicle on the Durham Freeway. Both drivers died at that scene.
Former President Barack Obama's Presidential Center is set to open in Chicago after breaking ground nearly 5 years ago.
Yeah, he made the announcement this past weekend. He says the opening will happen on Juneteenth, and the site has been under construction in Chicago's South Side since 2021.
American Nathan Martin pulled off the victory in the closest ever LA Marathon. It was a dramatic finish when Martin caught up to runner Michael Kamau from Kenya. Kamau tried to extend his arms at the end, but it wasn't enough. It was that marathon's closest ever finish. We're talking about a difference of 1/100th of a second. Nathan Martin is the second American man to ever win the LA Marathon.
Ooh, what a close one. All right, Pixar's Hoppers jumped to #1 in the box office in the opening weekend. The studio says the film brought in $44 million over the past 3 days. It was also an international hit, doubling in revenue from global showings. This is the highest grossing movie premiere for the studio since the release of Coco nearly a decade ago. Scream 7 was the second highest, bringing in $17 million this weekend in terms of other movies.
We went to go see Hoppers yesterday, took my daughter there. We loved it.
That's cute.
It was really, really entertaining and surprisingly emotional. I was kind of tearing up, as a parent. It was touching, too. Well, that brings us to today's pet of the day. Meet Cindy. She's a 5-year-old beagle that is almost blind. Cindy's one eye was damaged and removed when spayed. She loves to snuggle, likes to take a nap, and is shy. To apply to adopt her, check out lovemuttsrescue.org.
Coming up on WRAL News at 4, reshaping bodies and businesses. The weight loss market is changing consumer behavior. From fashion to fitness to food, we take a closer look at how this is having an effect on the economy.
Thanks for spending the past hour with us. Now you can go out and enjoy the beautiful weather. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And just a reminder, you can always get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. And by chance, if you go outside and you still want to join us for our WRAL News Plus newscast that we have there, just download WRAL's news app and you can watch there. Hope you have a great day today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.